This is the ECOFLOW Delta Pro. Looking at it, you can see it's a big rectangular box with a high-quality build, heavy-duty handles, and a solid feel. Mine's in that black and gray finish with a bright LCD display sitting right on the front. It feels modern and built for people who might move it around, even if it weighs over 100 pounds. So, honestly, it's not exactly something you toss in the back seat without thinking. I want to share my quick review and real experience with this extra battery, especially since I use it alongside my Delta Pro. When I first bought the Delta Pro, the main goal was to be ready for blackouts and camping with my RV, plus have backup power for the home, just in case. But I was still worried about how long a single battery would last me if I was trying to power the AC in the RV through a summer night, or if we lost power for longer stretches. That's why I picked up this extra battery. Let's start with key features, but in my own words. This battery packs a real punch. It gives your Delta Pro system an extra 3,600 watt-hours. Basically, watt-hours are how much juice you have available before having to recharge, kind of like how many miles you get from a tank of gas. Connecting this battery to the base Delta Pro literally doubles the runtime. For me, that means peace of mind. Connecting the battery was easy, but the unit itself is super heavy. I'd really recommend having a second person help lift and move it. The plug-and-play connector cable stores right in a compartment on the extra battery, which is kind of a cool detail. I like not having to hunt for parts when I'm in a rush. Once you hook up the cable, the Delta Pro and the extra battery act like a team. They charge and discharge together, and you get a combined readout on the LCD screen. The interface is super straightforward. Even though there are a lot of tech details in the manuals, if you're just starting out, you basically connect the cable, power up, and are good to go. From my experience, this setup really shines when your power needs go up and you need things to last through the night, or maybe even longer, without starting a gas generator. Running my RV air conditioning was a big test for me. With both batteries connected and fully charged, I see close to 7.2 kilowatt hours on the monitor. Let me explain. A kilowatt hour is a measurement of how much energy you have. So when my AC pulls about 1,000 watts per hour, I know I could run it for 7 hours straight before draining both batteries. I've tested it at around 1,200 watts draw, and the system still handled it smoothly. That means even if you bump up your usage, you're covered for most of the night. The fan kicks in gently, but it's way quieter than any gas generator I've used. For me, camping somewhere like Walmart parking lots or national parks, not making a bunch of noise at night is a big win. I've also used the Delta Pro and the extra battery for charging my devices, running a coffee maker, and occasionally powering the fridge at home during an outage. It performs like a champ, and the LCD display tells me how much power is coming in and going out, remaining charge time, and total percentage left. There's also an ECOFLOW app that pairs over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I've used it to check battery status from inside my camper while the battery is stored outside. The app is pretty handy, but I have had a few hiccups with connection drops once in a while. One of the coolest things is charging flexibility. I've charged the whole setup from a wall outlet using the fast charging mode. ECOFLOW calls it Xtreme, which takes less than 3 hours to top off both units together. I've also hooked it up to solar panels and even my car outlet during a road trip. For backup, ECOFLOW has a smart generator. You'd have to buy that separately. So if you ever completely run out or the sun doesn't cooperate, you can refill the batteries using gasoline, but at least during quiet time, you can turn off the generator and rely on just the batteries. That setup really gives peace of mind, especially when I'm camped out far away from any power source. The main downside for me is definitely the weight. Moving two 100-plus pound batteries is not fun, and if you're doing it by yourself, you'll want to be careful. The wheels make it easier, but getting upstairs or into an RV bay still takes some muscle. Also, this isn't waterproof, so during storms or outside use, I always stash it somewhere dry, like a storage bay or inside the RV. Another thing I've noticed is that the initial app setup requires a little bit of technical patience. I've had to update firmware and reconnect the Bluetooth, but once things are up and running, it's pretty smooth. I do wish customer service was a little faster. One time I had a question about charging, and it took a while to get a reply. That said, the technology inside is rock solid. This extra battery uses what's called LiFePO4, or lithium iron phosphate cells. In simple terms, these batteries last a really long time. ECOFLOW says you can expect about 6,500 cycles to 50% capacity. That's way more than most regular lithium-ion batteries. For me, that means I don't have to worry about the battery wearing out anytime soon. even with frequent use. If you're just getting started with battery backup systems, here's what all this means. You can take this extra battery, use it to run your essentials, lights, a fan, your fridge, or even a microwave if you want, and it'll just keep things going much longer than a single battery setup would. It's also clean, no fumes, no messy gas, and way less noise than any traditional generator. That's why I think it's perfect for not just people in RVs, but also for anyone needing real backup power for the house, or when you're outdoors and need to keep your devices running. I'd recommend this for anyone who wants peace of mind, if you live somewhere prone to storms, blackouts, or love to camp off-grid. The expandability is a big plus. You're not limited to just this battery. You can chain more together, and EcoFlow's whole ecosystem lets you scale up if your power needs grow. For regular folks like me, it's a huge confidence boost knowing the power's not just going to cut out in the night. The LCD screen is a nice touch. Even if you're not a technical person, you can see all the basic info by just pressing a button: input power, output power, time remaining, everything you need for a quick check. And the smart controls by app, while not perfect, add convenience too. In conclusion, the ECOFLOW Delta Pro Extra Battery 3600 Wh has been a great addition to my backup power system. It's packed with practical features, makes running high-demand stuff like AC in an RV possible for a full night, and takes away a lot of my worries during outages. It's heavy, sure, but if you want reliable power and flexibility, I think it's well worth the investment. If you found this quick review helpful, subscribe to my channel and drop me a comment below with your questions or your own experiences. Thank you for watching.